Hey there, friends. By now, everybody has seen the back and forth between Hamas and Israel. This all kind of erupted in the middle of our night, but they're early morning, and it's proceeding right now. Last I saw a while ago, Hamas was now retaliating against Israel for retaliating against Hamas, and they were shelling Tel Aviv. Nevertheless, a lot of troubling footage is coming out since all this took place. Now, let's remember that Israel tries to protect its borders. The United States does not. Just keep that in mind. That's very, very critical. And the reason why it's critical is because I'm about to show you some video of the borders of a country attempting to secure their borders and attempting to keep people out being overrun. This video right here shows you Hamas, who made it through the borders that were heavily protected, heavily guarded, made it through there, and are going door to door in various neighborhoods killing people. Now, none of these people who are going door to door care about being shot, killed, caught, anything like that. They know that they are going to meet some pretty good blowback from the Israeli military and police. So they're clearly not the least bit fazed by doing any of this. Now, I want to remind you once again that this is a country and a border that the country and the leadership in that country want to protect. The United States is just the opposite. The United States has open borders. The United States literally has millions of undocumented people that we don't know who they are, where they're going, where they came from, coming into this country. Why do we need AR-15s? That's a question we hear an awful lot from the wackos on the far left, right? We hear it all the time. Nobody needs a weapon of war. Even though they're incorrect and these are not actually weapons of war, we should have any weapon of war, any weapon that our military has. Yes, we should have. I'm sorry. If that offends people, I'm sorry. Not really sorry. I'm just saying that to be nice and polite. But we should have whatever the military has. If I'm going to defend myself, I don't want to be at a disadvantage from anyone. And we know as poorly as the way our military and our government in general is able to keep track of things. They lose guns, weapons, bombs, anything. They're losing on a regular basis. Oops, we can't find that. They lost a frickin' F-35 last week. So we know our federal government and our military do a very poor job of inventory. So as long as I know they're losing what is going to be what they classify as a weapon of war, I feel like I should have that too. Because we know those are going to fall into the hands of the wrong people. By God, our own government ran guns to the enemy in Mexico, to the Mexican cartels. Eric Holder and Barack Obama did that. This is a well-documented thing that happened. And I'm sure it's still going on now, and I don't think it matters what president there is out there. We run guns to Mexico. We run guns to our enemies all over the world. So if our enemies are going to have any of these guns, I want them. I don't want a fair fight. If I'm attacked, I am an honest, law-abiding citizen. I don't start trouble. I don't create messes. I don't create anything that somebody has to clean up. So if I'm involved in a skirmish, it's because somebody came at me. It's because somebody attacked me. And I don't want a fair fight when that time comes. I want it to be as lopsided as possible. I want to outgun that person to the nth degree. I do not want it to be a fair fight. I'm not looking for a fair fight when somebody comes at me. I should unfairly be able to dominate whomever is attempting to attack myself or my family. Now, why do I bring all this up? Because of our porous border. Headline Reuters: a smuggler with ties to a foreign extremist group helped Uzbek migrants enter the U.S. from Mexico. Of the nearly 2 million migrants, and they incorrectly use that word migrants, these are illegal aliens, encountered at the U.S.-Mexico border between October 2022 and July 2023, 216 were on U.S. watch lists for potential links to terrorism. Now, I want you to see a couple of charts that I pulled, guess where? From the government's own website. So if they're admitting these things, they are painfully admitting these things. This is what we have been encountering at our southern border. These are potential terrorists, people who are on watch lists. Look here at the top. Office of Field Operations encounters at land border ports of entry of all nationalities. And it says down there, you can look at fiscal year 23, the far right-hand column. 76 at our southern border, 429 at our northern border. Obviously, Canada. With the Canadian border, our government doesn't look the other way quite as much. These are ports of entry that we're talking about. These numbers are people who weren't afraid or ashamed for you to know where they came from and who they were. Again, ports of entry. On the northern border, there's a little bit more security up there. In other words, the Canadians aren't able to flood in quite as easily. So that's why you're seeing these numbers of people encountered up there at a higher rate. It doesn't mean that we have more of a problem on the Canadian border, on our northern border, versus the Mexican border on the south. All it means is we have caught more terrorists coming through Canada because we have tighter security up there, so we're able to funnel them in and actually get a handle on that. The southern border is wide open. Very few of these terrorists are coming in through the ports of entry. That's why there's such a low count. Yet we still have these numbers at ports of entry from the southern border. So this means that these are the ones that we know about. These are potential terrorists that are declared, that we know where they are, where they came from. There are thousands and thousands more that make it through that we don't have a clue where they came from, who they are, where they went, why they're here, and if they're here. We don't even know this. On top of that, look at this other chart, criminal non-citizens encounter, fiscal year 2023, 18,586. Again, these are at ports of entry. These are people that we have caught that are criminals. So we've got criminals and terrorists flooding across our southern border. Again, these are the ones that we know about. There are likely tens to hundreds of thousands of others out there that we just don't have any idea. Need more proof that we have a problem? A sheriff along the southern border said the silent invasion is being committed primarily by single military-aged men between the ages of 17 and 45 who are illegally entering the U.S. They're wearing camouflage and carrying backpacks, according to video captured by cameras placed throughout the county, viewed by the center square. Many are armed and dangerous, committing robberies and engaging in shootouts with law enforcement, Coe said. This is the sheriff on a southern border. My point in all of this is, we're watching things unfold in Israel, a very small territory who has a very heavily guarded and secure border. Yet these things happened last night. We are here in the United States with many of these same people already in our country, already armed, undocumented, and we don't have any idea where they are, while there's a continued effort of continuously more and more and more coming through the southern border, and our federal government looks the other way. Why do you need an AR-15? You need an AR-15 because your government is not here to protect you. Your government is not trying to protect you. Your government is letting the enemy infiltrate free of charge, likely getting benefits based on your tax dollars, and it's going to be up to you to defend yourself and your neighbors and your family and your loved ones.
God save the Queen, man.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America. He's over!